According to reports, Caleb Wiley, a teenager from Atlanta United, has agreed to join Chelsea. David Ornstein of The Athletic claims that Chelsea will pay £8.5 million for the 19-year-old left-back. His contract is expected to last until 2031, and a strategy for his growth is already in place. The Blues desire to send Wiley borrowed to Strasbourg next season as they hope to give him more experience of initial group football in Europe prior to coordinating him into the crew at Chelsea. The transition to Stamford's scaffold marks what has been a thrilling not many days for the American. Wiley was included in the United States Olympic team for the Paris Games on Monday. The fullback has a lot of respect in American football circles. He has been capped twice by the first team, but this time he didn't make it to the Copa America. Wiley has made 84 appearances for Atlanta in the Major League Soccer, where he has already established himself as a first-team player. He has scored 6 goals and provided 7 assists during that time. Wiley has been known to play on the left side of the midfield and even as a left winger, despite his primary position being left back. The strong relationship between Chelsea and Atalanta is thought to have aided the move for the American. Between now and the end of the transfer window, Enzo Maresca must make a few decisions regarding transfers. Today, Monday, the new Chelsea manager began working with the first group of players returning to preseason in an effort to implement his own style. In an effort to sign players who will complement the Italians' philosophy, the Blues have already been active in the transfer market. There have already been a few incoming and outgoing transactions, and additional transactions are anticipated in the upcoming weeks. One player who might have an unsure future is Ben Chilwell. Chelsea could be willing to sell the fullback this summer, according to reports from last week. The Daily Mail has now reported that Manchester United are considering a move for the 27-year-old to compete with Luke Shaw. Chilwell had a physical issue hit 2023-24 season, meaning he showed up in the Chief Association. He went back to Cobham in the beginning of the summer to get ready for the new season, and he will try to impress in the preseason. Chilwell's ability to play Maresca's preferred system, in which a full-back from one side is inverted and the other moves across to form a back three, is, however, questionable. He may fall behind Marc Cucurella in the hierarchy due to the Spaniard's success in the reverse position toward the end of last season. As indicated by Transfermarkt, the fullback's ongoing business sector esteem remains at €28 million, £23.6 million. That is a decrease of £26 million from the £50 million Chelsea paid Leicester City in the summer of 2020 for the player. If Chilwell were to sell this summer, it may not have been anticipated that they would receive the full £50 million back due to the injury issues they experienced last season. But for a player who ought to be at the pinnacle of his career, receiving less than half of that payment is a significant setback. Chelsea must decide whether they believe his value could rise again in subsequent seasons with 3 years remaining on his current contract. If that is the case, they might decide to keep him, but if they don't, they might just decide to stop losing money this summer. Enzo Maresca is persuaded Chelsea have an excellent crew brimming with ability as he starts his second week in his new job as lead trainer. Maresca, who took over from Mauricio Pochettino a month ago, officially started his job last week at Cobham, where a few first-team players and some players from the club's academy met. More senior players who aren't on international duty or taking a break after representing their countries will join the rest of the team today, Monday. In less than 2 weeks, Chelsea will fly to the United States to begin their preseason tour. It will be the initial time so that allies could see Maresca ball in real life with the Italian accountable for the Blues. In addition, it will be the first chance to see 4 of the 5 new signings in action. While Estevao Williams' official deal to join Chelsea was officially announced last month, he will not make the move to Stamford Bridge until the following summer as he continues to develop at Palmeiras. However, it is anticipated that Tosin Adarabioyo, Omari Kellyman, Mark Gayu, and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall will travel to America with the team. The team may have added a few more players by the time Chelsea plays Wrexham in Santa Clara, California, in their first match of the preseason tour. However, based on what Maresca said in his first interview as Chelsea manager, the team may not need to spend a lot of money this summer. Even though he has been in contact with players throughout this transfer window, the 44-year-old insists that Chelsea already has a very strong team. Maresca provided an explanation. "One of the reasons I'm here is because I'm convinced the squad is very good and full of talent. We're able to create the right culture that motivates us for the season, which is the most important thing right now. I always say the same thing: you can improve the team if you can improve the players. So it is our objective to attempt to work on every one of them step by step." Although Maresca only started his job 7 days ago, he has been putting in a lot of hard work behind the scenes. According to a report published by Football, London last month, the newly appointed head coach requested that the data department provide performance evaluations for each player, from the youth team to the first team. When Maresca inquired about the significance of meeting the players for the first time, she received the response, "It is very important because we need to know each other. Since I've watched so many games in the past 2 or 3 weeks, I honestly feel as though I already know each and every one of them. So I believe I know every one of them. Yet, it is consistently unique when you go through step by step with the individual. You can see them in games, but when you spend every day with the players, the real people, you get a different feeling." Despite interest from Chelsea, former Chelsea Academy teammate Michael Olise has decided to sign with Bayern Munich, according to Jamal Musiala. After Chelsea withdrew from negotiations, the winger makes the move to Chelsea from Crystal Palace for £51 million. Due to the club's precarious adherence to Premier League spending regulations and the attacker's wage demands, it would appear that their withdrawal was motivated by this. Olise, a Frenchman, started his career at Arsenal before moving to Chelsea's youth program in 2009. In 2016, he switched to Manchester City's setup, and a year later, he moved to Reading. He played alongside Musiala, a star player for Germany and Bayern, at Cobham. The midfielder was with Chelsea for 8 years before being acquired by Bayern in 2019. He had previously been scouted by Southampton, who had signed him from TSV Laners, a German club in the 4th division. Musiala says that he is happy to play with Olise once more for Bayern, this time on the big stage. According to columnist Max Koch, the 21-year-old said, "We used to play together in Chelsea Foundation, it was great. He is extremely talented and has excellent skills. He has scored a lot of goals at Palace, so I'm glad he's going to Bayern." After much speculation about his future, Olise ultimately decided to join former Burnley manager Vincent Kompany at the Allianz Arena, despite being linked to Manchester United and Newcastle. Talking about why he decided to move to Bayern, Olise said, "It's an extraordinary test, and that is precisely the exact thing I was searching for. I want to demonstrate my abilities at this level and contribute to our team's goal of winning as many titles as possible in the coming years." In a month, Olise will return to England when Bayern play Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in a pre-season friendly a week before the start of the Premier League season. Oscar Pereira's agent has revealed that talks took place with Chelsea before he opted to join League One side Strasbourg this summer. The 18-year-old has impressed since making his professional debut for Atlético Nacional in January 2023. The Colombian forward has scored 8 goals and provided 5 assists. Pereira's impressive performances in his native Colombia have earned him a move to Blue Co-owned Strasbourg in France. And the player's agent Matthias Bunge has revealed that discussions had initially taken place over a move to Stamford Bridge. Whoever buys him and does the operation. The papers are signed with Racing Strasbourg, even though it is the same owner as Chelsea, he told El Vibar Caracol at first. "We spoke with the people from Chelsea, but the details were agreed with the people from Racing." L'Équipe report that the left winger will sign a 4-year deal with Strasbourg for a reported fee of just over €5 million. Pereira, who has just 6 months remaining on his current deal at Atlético Nacional, will leave the Colombia U20 training camp to undergo a medical on Monday, according to Colombian media. Chelsea have signed 4 players so far this summer. Midfielders Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and Omari Kellyman as well as forward Mark Gayu and centre-back Tosin Adarabioyo have all joined Enzo Maresca's team. Elsewhere, 6 players have left the Blues this summer with Michael Golding, Hakeem Ziyech, Thiago Silva, Ian Motson, Omari Hutchinson and Lewis Hall departing Stamford Bridge. More are set to join them in leaving, with Armando Broja and Trevoh Chalobah among those linked with a move away.